start with an opening statement?
Sure. Just really proud of the group, taking advantage of some opportunities and really just playing the full game with great effort and finding the execution late. We talk about finish, do right longer, and that's what our guys, continue to find in that game. And love the way that, we played a really complementary game with each other, creating the turnovers on defense, special teams settling in after a big return, and then offensively just executing and finding some critical wins on third and fourth down.
Thanks, Coach. Let's start with David Newton, followed by Scott Fowler.
Hey, Coach. You mentioned third down there. Chuba was pretty big on third down yesterday. What did you learn about him through the last month as far as the way he handled the situation of being replaced as a starter? And what did you learn yesterday that makes you feel that he can be a big part of this offense moving forward?
I just love the way Chuba went right back to work, and that's his mentality. He's going to handle what's right in front of him, control the controllables, take care of his body, get himself back to where he feels great. He looked amazing yesterday. He looked explosive, and he looked strong and really brought an attitude to our group. And it really impacted us as a team on the sideline. I could feel that just by the way, the intentionality of how he was running the ball and making yards, and just really proud of the way that he's worked himself back. And all he wants to do is win. All he wants to do is help his teammates. So I love that about him.
Is that, to see somebody handle it that way, how unusual is the selflessness that he showed from your experience in NFL?
He's just a first-class pro. He works hard, gets himself ready, and prepares every day the same, regardless of the circumstances, and just really attacks his studying, attacks his body work, and practices every day with intentionality.
And one other thing, Vikings have granted Adam Thielen his release. I know you've got a young receiving core. Adam was a big part of that, though, last year. What is there any interest in the Panthers and Adam coming back?
He's still on the roster currently, so I'm going to kick that one down to a couple of days. So,
okay.
Dave, to go back to Chuba for a minute, can you tell me a little bit more about that swing pass he caught that turned into your first really big play of the game? Was that the first read? Tell me how that one developed.
Excellent blocking on the perimeter. We just try to mix it up in those different zones on third down, whether sometimes it's a run, sometimes it could be a perimeter screen, sometimes we drop back and pass protect to get the ball down the field. It's good to just have variety in that particular situation right there. They were pretty aggressive with their pressure, and our guys did a great job getting the play started on the perimeter. And then from there, Chuba just exploded and had really good angles to the pylon and just ran through it.
Thanks. And how did you come out of that game injury-wise?
Pretty solid. Let's see. Taylor Moton missed a little bit of time with an oblique, came back in, and then Lathan Ransom injured his thumb. So we're going through how to take care of that right now, and we'll see what his timetable is as we go forward.
Last thing from me, but just you've talked about having everything in front of you with this team. Now you're going into December here with a real shot at everything. Just wonder how you address the team before you let him go today about that circumstance.
Yeah, the importance of the bye week, getting our recovery from a physical standpoint, but also just mentally, emotionally. This is a long season, making sure that we take that break, but we make sure we keep moving and be ready to get back to work. Every game's a championship opportunity. It's what we've been stressing, and our mentality is that 1-0 mentality. We have to look at the Saints. This is our next opponent. When we come back after the bye, we get right back to work, and keeping that focus. How long can we maintain the week-to-week focus, and how long can we really accentuate each day? How can we attack that day and win it? Whatever we're doing on that day from a game plan standpoint, practice standpoint, they're all so important. It's this time of year, the teams that continue to improve fundamentally are the ones that will find success. So we have to be committed to the basics.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. Let's go with Steve Reed, followed by Mike Kay.
Hey, Coach, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
I've been covering this team a long, long time, and this is probably one of I think the toughest team. I think a lot of people would agree to figure out because, you have a big win in Atlanta, then you don't play well at New England. You beat the Cowboys, but then, you lose big to the Bills, and then, the Green Bay win, but then the loss to New Orleans, and then the 49ers loss, and then, a huge win against the Rams. I mean, it seems like it's kind of all over the place. It's a hard team to figure out. Is there any way you can explain that? And I guess as coaches, you want to be consistent every game, but like, how do you explain what's kind of happened this season with the ups and downs and some big ups and some downs?
Yeah, this is a maturing team, and it's about handling the fundamentals and the basics. It always does. It always comes down to a handful of plays, whether it's on defense, offense, or special teams. Certainly, taking care of the ball is the big thing that we talk about, but it really just comes down to the fundamental execution and consistency that we're looking for, and it's our job as a coaching staff to keep pushing our guys to find that improvement that we're looking for, to solidify things, to take lessons learned and then move forward to find new lessons and say, okay, we've got this one. Let's remind ourselves how important it is to take care of this or that, and that's what we're continuing to push the group on. We have this next game coming up after the bye to continue to work on our football. Our goal is to play our best, to find our best football, and that's got to be the full focus of the group. And the inconsistency that we've seen, it always comes back down to some of the most basic things. It's blocking and tackling. It's throwing and catching, making those plays when we're supposed to, owning your leverage, being where you're supposed to be. And that's just a sign of a group that's continuing to figure out who we are, find that identity, so we can have it show up on a weekly basis.
And one quick follow-up. Have you updated us on Robert Hunt? Where does he kind of stand coming off the bye, and any chance of getting him back?
He's working his way back. He's doing a great job in return to play. He's getting stronger, and we have to just continue to take it week by week to see. We want that strength in his arm to come back so that he has balance and be able to stop a big man trying to redirect. And we're going to have to be really smart about that. And I can't tell you exactly what the timeline is, but it'll be a weekly thing to kind of see where he's at.
To follow up on that question, Dave, will Robert's availability be based on where you guys are at in the standings? Like, do you have to consider the long-term versus the short-term? And what was your take on Jake's performance yesterday?
The focus has to just be on Robert's health. And when he's healthy and ready to go, he'll play for the Panthers. And that could be this year. And I hope it is. But really, it's like if we had a chance to get Rob back, we want him back. Jake played a pretty solid game. There were some ups and downs for the most part. From an assignment standpoint, did an excellent job. And then just like any game, there were a couple of plays that got away from him. This is a really good group. They won some pass downs on him. He won some. And but in general, just really glad to have Jake being able to step in there when we needed him and showing the different versatility that he can give us. And right now we needed him at guard. He could go in there at tackle. He's done that for us in the past in Seattle.
And then Mike Jackson, I know you were there in Seattle, right, with him a little bit. Or wait, I guess, a little bit. Mm-hmm. How much has he grown as a player and maybe a guy in the locker room since your limited time with him?
Mike's been the same guy. Mike's been consistent as the day is long, and he's a guy that loves the work. He's a grinder. He's out there early. He's on the field late, working on his craft, taking in all the information he can, pattern reading different things from a formational standpoint. And Mike doesn't say a lot. He really doesn't try to take that vocal role, but he's a leader by example because of his professionalism. He's had a great impact on young guys like Corey Thornton, who just basically said, all right, this is what Mike does. I'm just going to take this format right here and just really just adopt that and take care of my body. What do you do? How do you do? Is it contrast therapy? How do you get yourself prepared mentally? And just the way that he takes his work so seriously, it's a really big impact in the type of leadership that has been impactful for our team.
Let's go with Joe Person, followed by Darren Gant.
Dave, is your expectation you'll get JC back after the bye?
That is my expectation, yes. And both he and Claude are still in the concussion protocol, but daily improvement. And we'll circle back around once we get closer to next week.
And then I wondered if you had a kind of a message or a meeting with Bryce before, turning him loose and what that might have been.
You talking about just today?
Yeah, just anything about talking with Bryce about kind of what the next 4 weeks are going to look like when y'all get back.
Nope, just the focus of enjoying our bye week. When we get back to work, it's the Saints. Here we go.
And then lastly, and I missed your opening statement or most of it. Did you tell guys that you want them to get gone and get home and get away, or are you leaving the building open? What's your approach to that?
Yeah, we have all the resources available here. Our staff, they also need to have a break, and so there's a rotating group of staff that'll be here, whether it's in the athletic training room or in the weight room. So guys have the ability to be here to move their bodies, to keep some of that conditioning, the callousing that we've worked up to at this point. So they're here for those resources. Guys are free to do and go wherever they want to go. And my message to them is just like, look what we're playing for, look what we're working for. Let's be smart. Let's take care of our bodies, make sure we move, within reason. So just giving them some last remarks and making sure that they all understand, like, we have something great to protect here. We have another opportunity coming back after the bye. So let's be smart about this week and let's hit the ground running.
Thanks.
Yep.
Dave, I was also going to ask about some of those logistical things with this week. I mean, with your coaches in particular, what's the message for those guys as you carry into a week off, and what you want them doing both this week and then to prep themselves for the last 4?
Yeah, so just early in this week, today and tomorrow is going to be about making sure we hit some of our self-scout stuff and see what's working, what needs to be adjusted, the different things we need to emphasize. And then we're moving right to the Saints, and we get to take these couple of days right here. We just played them not too long ago, so we're going to be able to see some carryover from our game plan, things that we weren't able to get called, so we can have a starting point there, but really just to press in so that when we get back next Monday, we have a good solid foundation of what we're looking at and how we're trying to attack. And in the time from when we leave the building here to when we come back, though, I think it's really important for everybody to just make sure they're connecting with their family, making sure that they're just unplugging for a little bit to just gather something back, just fill the tank up physically, with sleep, mentally, by just being able to do stuff you love with the people that you love, and really just being able to get ready for the finish that's in front of us.
Thanks.
We have time for 2 more. Let's go with Deshaun, followed by Vashti.
Thank you. Coach Canales, you mentioned this a couple of times. You mentioned it today and then also in the post-game address to the team about them really not seeing your best football yet. I'm curious, what is that missing element?
What I'm looking for is the complete game where all groups are firing on all cylinders. And that doesn't mean that the game's ever going to be perfect or we're going to hit every single play, every single pass, every single run's going to be a big run, or defensively that there aren't any plays made on us. But it's this consistency from the whole group for a full game, whatever the game looks like, however long it takes, just that consistency that we're looking for. And I know that's out there for us. And we see one side of the ball playing really well, the other side may not be, and there's like, it kind of is this fleeting thing where if we can find good, solid football collectively, eliminating penalties, taking care of the ball, executing at a high level, those are the things that I'm really talking about, is making sure that we play good assignment football, understanding that in a league where you're facing great talent every week, teams are going to find their plays. Teams are going to get a great rush on you. Offenses are going to make a pass down the field or break a run. Those things happen in a game, but let's make sure that it may be a technical breakdown. Let's make sure that we're mentally where we need to be, and that's what's out there for us.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, Dave. I had a question about the run game. You seem to find good balance in the run game. Earlier this year, when you were balancing Chuba and Rico, you were going series for series. This time it seemed more integrated. What went behind that? Tell me about, this weekend and how you decided to do that rotation between those two guys.
Yeah, some of it was third down opportunities. We've been using Chuba primarily as our third down back, and then he gets series as we go. And the way that we play on third down, we mix our runs. We mix some of like the perimeter screen he had a touchdown on, just different ways to allow him to affect the game. and especially because of how he's looked, in the last couple of weeks, he's looked really strong, really powerful, and just making sure that he's a weapon for us in different ways. And for Rico, giving him, the lion's share of some of those first and second down, those early series and all that is a great way to just get him the ball. So I like where we're at, like the balance. Got to give Bernie Parmalee a lot of credit for the way he got those guys in there to be able to mix it and make sure that they're both impacting the game. As we continue to grow as a team offensively speaking, these are two guys that are veteran players who can really help us. And sometimes it's just about that. It's like they're dynamic players, but also their leadership and how they attack the game gives a lot of confidence to the group.
Thanks.
Yep.
That's all the time we have today. Thank you so much, Coach, for taking the time.
All right. Thanks, everybody.